So today we're going to be talking about some Call of Duty Black Ops 6 leaks that have just come out over the past few hours, I'm pretty sure. We're not talking about some small bits of information for Black Ops 6. We're literally talking in-game, possibly beta gameplay, showing us the weapons list, the field upgrades list, perk system, a brand new perk system actually in this game. We've got maps, we've got weapons, perks, lethals, tactics, everything. There's so much stuff to talk about today for Black Ops 6. So I'm just going to get right into it. I'm not going to bother with an intro because this is going to be like a 20-minute video already. So the leaks we're talking about today, I obviously can't show anything on screen for you guys. I'm just going to be talking about it and having some Cold War Modern Warfare 3 gameplay in the background, whatever I could be bothered to play tonight, to be honest. And we're just going to be talking about everything that I've seen from the raw footage that we've got from, I'm assuming, the beta of Black Ops 6. This could be an alpha build, it could be a beta build, I'm not too sure, but this is information for Black Ops 6 nonetheless. So we're going to start off with the maps in this game. Now, the information from these clips that we've got is that there are 9 maps, at least in the beta or whatever it's going to be. Obviously, we know, I think there's going to be 12 maps or 16 maps overall. I can't remember off the top of my head, but there are 9 maps here that we know about. And apparently 4 of these 9 maps are the 12v12 strike maps, I believe they're called, which can be played on 6v6. And I've seen the layouts for every single map in these leaks at the moment, and none of them seem ridiculously big. Kind of think of the Black Ops Cold War 12v12 strike maps. Think about Cartel from Cold War. Was that a 6v6 map actually? I can't remember off the top of my head, but anyway, they all seem like decent maps for 6v6. Nothing's gonna be ridiculously sized. And basically all the information we get on these maps is a still image, the sort of key art for it, and the name. So I'm just going to list these off. The first one is called Protocol. This is kind of a grey, cloudy map. It looks like some kind of abandoned. It looks like some kind of abandoned castle or base. I'm not too sure. The second one is called Babylon. This gives me strong jungle vibes from Black Ops 1, obviously green with stone and rock. Next up we have Scud. This reminds me strongly of, I think, Radar or Satellite from Black Ops Cold War, but instead of being in a desert, it's sort of in a grey atmosphere. We don't really see what kind of biome it's in because it kind of just shows the entire radar dish. It doesn't show us the area or anything like that. The next map is called Skyline. This is the Modern House Sunset map that we saw at the Black Ops 6 Direct. Pit, which is some kind of underground base or maybe underground mines, I'm not too sure. We've got Stakeout, which is some kind of CIA safe house. We get a screenshot from inside one of these buildings, and it looks like quite a small map actually. Next up we have Gala, which is basically just a gala room. It looks pretty small actually, comparable to Shipment. We've got Rewind, which we also saw in the Black Ops 6 Direct. It's the one with the street and the shops on the street. And finally we've got Derelict, which is the abandoned train line into the sort of jungle kind of area, and that was also one that we saw in the Black Ops 6 Direct as well. Now, in terms of the in-game gameplay from these leaks, there are actually 2 clips that they show. The first one is from Derelict, which is the train line map, and the character just sort of runs around the map. He shows off a little bit of the omnidirectional movement, but nothing too crazy. But they just sort of run around the map, show off the tack sprint. I think they might dive or slide a couple times. I don't remember off the top of my head. But yeah, they kind of run around, they shoot their gun, they kind of show off some of the animations. And one thing I should mention is that this seems like a Black Ops game. I think a lot of people were worried that this was going to feel like a Modern Warfare game, but with a Black Ops title basically. And from what I can tell from this video, it looks like a Black Ops game, so it should feel and play like a Black Ops game, which is really exciting for me. That was one thing I was kind of worried about as well. Another thing that I want to talk about as well with this gameplay is score streaks appear to be back to normal. You can see the score streaks on the UI, which we'll talk about the UI in a second. But yeah, the score streaks are back to normal. You've got 500 points for a UAV, so it's normal again. The map that we're on, Derelict, looks really colourful, really vibrant, classic Black Ops stuff really. And one thing that I noticed with this clip as well is the in-game UI for Black Ops 6 is incredibly clean and concise as well. I really like it. One thing that I love actually is that the compass and the map are sort of in one in this game. One thing that I really don't like about Modern Warfare 3 is how many HUD elements are in the game. You've got your bottom left, you've got your name and your tac stance or your tac sprint bar and your health bar. In the bottom right, you've got your gun, your ammo, your lethal, tactical, blah 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 blah. Then you've got your compass thing at the top, and then you've got your fucking mini map in the top left and the attackers, and it's a lot to take in, a lot of information. It just looks cluttered and, to be honest, not great. But in Black Ops 6, it's clean, it's concise. There's literally just the map and the compass in the top left. You've got your gun and your ammo in your bottom right with your frags and your tacticals, and that's it. And then you've got your score streaks as well, and that's literally it. So it looks a lot nicer. And one thing I do want to remind you guys about with the UI in this game is that you can actually customize it. So we'll be able to put these HUD elements wherever we want. We might be able to split them up. I don't know how in-depth it is, but in terms of placing what's already on the screen, you can kind of put them anywhere and move them, make them as big as you want. So that's a great thing. Now we're going to talk about the weapons that we see in this game. Now obviously this is not going to be the full list. This is going to be an alpha or beta list that we'll probably have access to by the end of the month. We're going to start off with the assault rifles here. The first one is the XM4, which we saw in Black Ops Cold War. However, in this game it looks like the M16 instead of the what was it called, the Commando. Obviously it's still like an M4 platform type weapon. Like, it's a very similar type of weapon. It's just an M16 this time around. So I don't know if it's going to be fully auto or burst. I'm guessing burst. We've got the AK-74, which is basically an AK-47, not a 74U, which is the SMG version, and the AMES-85, which I'm not really sure what this is based off of. It just looks like a generic assault rifle. We've got 3 SMGs in the form of the C9, which is actually based off of the MP5, but it doesn't look like an MP5, if that makes sense. So the way I'll describe it is that it's got the base and the kind of general structure of an MP5, but the iron sights especially are like OG MP7 iron sights. Like, it's really weird. We've got the Tanto .22 or Tanto 22, whatever you want to call it, which kind of looks similar to a Mac 10, like a small SMG. And then we've got the Jackal PDW, which looks like it's based off the AK-74 platform, but it's like a pocket SMG. Like, this thing is tiny. Then we've got the Marine SP, which is a pump action shotgun. I'm not really, knowledgeable on shotguns, so I don't know what this looks like. We've got the XMG, which is the M16 assault rifle, but in an LMG form. For marksman rifles, we've got the SWAT 556, which I'm pretty sure was a gun in Black Ops 4, but obviously it's a marksman rifle in this game. It was an assault rifle back then. And the DM10, which I think might be a DMR version of the M16, again, keeping the sort of platforms vibe from Modern Warfare, but I don't know if that's the case. It just kind of looks like it. For snipers, we've got the SVD, which is the Dragunov. It's just the Dragunov. Then we've got the LR762, which kind of looks similar to the AX50 to Modern 2019, but it has a little bit more wood on there. For pistols, we've got the GS45, which is kind of hard to see actually in the clip what the pistols look like. But the second one is the 9mm PM, which is based off of the Psykov or the Makarov or the PMM, whatever you want to call it. And the final two, the first one is the Sigma 28, which I'm pretty sure is a launcher from Black Ops Cold War. And the final thing, which is actually really interesting about this game, is that we've got a third weapon slot for the knife. So it seems like melee weapons could be a separate thing in this game instead of being a secondary, which is a really interesting idea. I want to know if this is going to be a third weapon that you could probably pull out, or it's just going to be like your standard, knife when you're holding the gun. Like, instead of hitting them with the butt of your gun, you're going to pull out a certain melee weapon. I'm not too sure how that's going to work exactly, but I'm really excited to see how that's going to work. I think at the moment, the only knife we've got is the standard combat knife, but I imagine in the future, we're going to be seeing a lot more melee weapons, like, I don't know, baseball bats and boxing gloves. Like, Treyarch love to do those kinds of silly things, so it's possible that this is going to be a actual third weapon slot, which is the first time we've ever seen that in a COD game, if I remember correctly. Okay, now staying in the creator class section for Black Ops 6, which is basically where we're going to remain for the rest of the video, we're going to be talking about equipment. So in terms of tacticals in this game, we've got the concussion grenade, the flashbang, the stim, the proximity alarm, which is kind of like Siege, I'm guessing, where an enemy runs in and it sets off an alarm, and finally the decoy grenade. And in terms of lethals, we've got the frag grenade, the Semtex, the thermo grenade, which I believe is going to be similar to the thermobaric grenade from Modern Warfare 3 and Vanguard. We've got the blast trap, which is basically just a proximity mine that's just a mine, and finally the combat axe. It's worth mentioning as well, in the Black Ops Direct, they actually talked about a homing knife. I don't know if that's going to be something specific to the campaign or if it's going to be a multiplayer as well. We'll have to find out. In terms of field upgrades, we have got 5 at the moment. We've got the assault pack, which is the ammo dump from Black Ops Cold War, the trophy system, the neurogas, which is, I think, similar to a Cold War field upgrade, where it's basically like a gas mine thing, which slowly kills you over time and gives you like hallucinations and stuff. We've got the acoustic AMP, which apparently lets you hear enemy footsteps louder for a certain amount of time, which is kind of underpowered for a field upgrade. I mean, that used to be a perk back in the day, but okay. And the final field upgrade, which is actually one of the coolest field upgrades I think we've ever seen for a COD game, is the sleeper agents. Now, the way that this works is that you appear as a friendly to your enemies, but doing things like gunfire and, quote, enemy content will reveal you as the enemy again. So basically this means you can go undercover against the enemies, which is a really cool idea. This has huge potential to be really fun, like in terms of S&D, or even just on shipment or something. You can just activate this and just run alongside the enemy and just shoot them in the back. Like it sounds really cool, and I'm really excited. Did I say shipment, by the way? I'm so brain right. So now I want to talk a little bit about the brand new perk system, which is coming to Black Ops 6. Obviously we have the standard 3 perks, that's not going anywhere, but in this game we have something called the perk specialty, which is basically like a perk modifier, and there are 3 different things in this perk specialty sort of section. We have the enforcer, which killing enemies temporarily increases movement speed and health regen. We have the recon, which enemies can be seen through walls after respawn. It gives you high alert and leaves no death skulls as well. And the third and final perk specialty is the strategist. This earns you a score bonus for objectives and destroying enemy equipment. You see enemy equipment through walls at a shorter distance, and you also deploy equipment faster. Now, you're probably wondering, how do you get these perk specialties? And I'll tell you. The way that this works is that every single perk section has 3 different color coordinated perks. So for example, with perk 1, 3 examples here. You've got Assassin, which is red, which corresponds to Enforcer. You've got Ninja, which is blue, which corresponds towards Recon. And thirdly, you've got Flak Jacket, which is yellow, which corresponds towards Strategist. And if you use the same color perk across the 3 sections, you earn a perk specialty. So, for example here, if I was to go perk 1 Assassin, perk 2 Dexterity, and perk 3 Double Time, all 3 of those perks are red perks, which will give me the Enforcer perk specialty. Now, obviously, you don't have to use this. This is just a modifier. So if I wanted to go Assassin, Tracker, and Cold-Blooded, for example, which are all different colors in the perk sections, I won't get a perk specialty. But it's just like a nice bonus if you want to use a certain playstyle, I think, is the mindset here. So you've got Enforcer, Recon, and Strategist. And like I say, I'm pretty sure this is a first for COD, at least in terms of multiplayer. I know there's been modifiers in zombies, like say Black Ops 4, for example. But this is really exciting. Like, I really love the idea of this, and it adds a little bit more creativity to the perk system without overcomplicating it or even changing it that much. It's literally just adding color coordination to the perks. You see, Infinity Ward, that's how you innovate the perk system, not with your bullshit charge system of Modern Warfare 2. Jesus Christ. Okay, so we're now going to go through perk 1, 2, and 3 and talk about what's in each section. We've got the Assassin perk, the Scavenger perk, which are both red. And we've got a new perk here called Bruiser, which is the 3rd red perk of perk 1. And this basically gives you replenished health when you melee people. We've got 2 blue perks in perk 1, which are Ninja and Ghost, and 2 yellow perks in perk 1, which are Flak Jacket and Tac Mass. In perk 2, we've got 2 red perks, which is Dexterity and Gung Ho. We've got 3 blue perks, which is Tracker, Engineer, and Forward Intel. And the 2 yellow perks for perk 2 are Fast Hands and Dispatcher, which is basically Hardline. And in perk 3, we've got 2 red perks, which is Double Time and Bankroll. And Bankroll is actually a new perk, which gives you 150 score towards your score streaks at the start of each life. We've got 2 blue perks, which is Vigilance, which basically tells you when you appear on enemy minimaps, and it also makes you immune to CUAVs, Scramblers, and Sleeper Agents. And the second blue perk is Cold-Blooded. And then we've got 3 yellow perks. So the first one is Quartermaster, which is basically Restock. We've got Gearhead, which gives you the 2 field upgrade charges and increases the charge up rate. And we finally got Guardian, which is faster healing while capturing objectives, and also says revive teammates quicker. So I'm guessing there's going to be some kind of multiplayer mode where you can revive teammates. And the final thing that I want to talk about today is to do with the wildcards. Now, we've only got 3 at the moment. We've got Overkill, which lets you equip any weapon anywhere apart from melee weapons. We've got Gunfighter, which gives you 3 more attachments for your gun, which gives you 8 attachments overall. And last but not least, we've got Perk Greed, which just gives you an extra perk. I imagine this is going to be 1 perk from every single section. It's not going to be a specific one. And the absolute final thing that I want to talk about today is the menu music for multiplayer is so good. I mean, you guys remember Black Ops Cold War's menu music? It was a fucking banger. Every single year, Black Ops has done incredible menu music. I wish I could play it for you guys because it's so good, but yeah, they cooked this year. But yeah, that's good about doing for today's video. Overall, I love everything that I see here. Like, genuinely, there's not been a single thing that I read out today that I don't like. I mean, everything just sounds great. Like, Black Ops 6 is almost too good to be true. But that's where we're going to leave it for today. So thank you guys very much for watching this video. If you've enjoyed and you're excited for Black Ops 6, leave a like on this video, subscribe to the channel, and yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one.